we go. All right. So we are recording. I also wanted to do enabled captions and the transcript as well. So if that makes it easier and more accessible for you, you are welcome to watch that. All right. So I did just introduce myself and tell you a little bit about me. One thing that I do ask is that we all would kind of participate and play full out tonight. I have some journaling and some meditations for you, and it's a lot more fun if everybody participates. So I hope that you will join me in doing that. And also, I share personal things, which I don't have a problem with, but some other people may have personal shares. And so anything that anyone other than me shares, please keep that, just let that stay here. So, right. First thing we're going to do is open our circle. So go ahead and close your eyes and get comfortable. And start the music. Go ahead and close your eyes, make yourself comfortable. Receive a few deep breaths. And I invite you to follow me down the path in the woods. Smell the tangy scent of the pine trees. Listen to the rustling of the branches, the chatter of the squirrels, and the chirping of the birds. I invite you to leave your worries behind as we traverse the path to the clearing. Can you hear the crackling and smell the smoke from the bonfire? As we enter the clearing, we fan out into a circle around the roaring fire. See the light reflected on the faces around you. Clasp hands with those on either side of you. As we open this circle, let us each send our love and gratitude to the person on our right, knowing that it will work its way around the circle, forming a band of love. Great Mother, we gather today in your presence. We honor you and bow in gratitude for the many blessings you bestow upon us. May you open our hearts to love. May you open our eyes to your beauty. May you open our minds to your wisdom. Breathe that in and exhale. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and come back into the room. Okay, now I have a fun little thing for us to do. It's kind of a fun way to interact with each other and kind of learn something about each other without going around the circle and all introducing ourselves. So I want you to think of your very favorite dessert of all time. And we're not thinking about calories or gluten or sugar or any of those kinds of things right now, just a dessert that tastes absolutely delicious. And I want you to describe it without telling us what it is. So I might say that I love a creamy, tangy, ooey gooey dessert with super sweet red sauce dripping off and a crumbly crust. And that would be strawberry cheesecake. So I would love it if you would take a minute, go ahead and write down your little descriptions. And then when you're ready, if you would share those in the chat with us. So we have creamy coffee, fluffy layers. And yes, after you describe it, then you can tell us what it is if you would like. Is it tiramisu? Very nice. Thank you. Vanilla custard with a caramelized crust. Ooh, crumble, yum. A layered pastry dessert made of phyllo pastry filled with chopped nuts and sweetened with syrup or honey. Ooh, baklava. Yummy. Soft and smooth in the mouth and sweet with a hint of flavorful bitter made with milk. What's that one, Philippa? Chocolate mousse. This is not it's not an original idea. I did get it from somebody else, but it's always so fun when we do it that I thought it would be fun to share. And it gives you a kind of introduces us and we get to know a little something about each other in kind of a different way. Chewy, warm, candied walnut as well. Cookies, Antoinette? Brownies? Brownie, yum, very nice. Yes, my mom says they're not brownies if they don't have walnuts in them. Yes, I know everybody's gonna want to go out and have dessert when we get off our call. Anyone else want to share their dessert description? No? Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about our inner belly. So as humans, we have something called a negativity bias. And the reason for this is actually evolutionary. Our ancestors needed to notice the negative things more so than the positive things. And so those of us who have survived, survival of the fittest were the ones who were most aware of the negative things in their environment that they needed to protect themselves from. So while that was very functional and helpful for prehistoric humans, it's not particularly functional and helpful for us in everyday society. Yes, there are times that we are in danger, and it is good to be aware of our surroundings, and even more so as women, unfortunately. However, we don't just pick up on those negative things in our surroundings when they come from something that might kill us. They also, we also pick up on more negativity from news, from conversations with friends and family members and teachers, and the media. And the media is famous for trying to skew things out of perspective and make a big deal about certain things that maybe aren't as big of a deal. And so our minds latch onto those. And that social programming becomes a part of who we are. And oftentimes we remember things that people have said to us over time. Now, I had a traumatic childhood. I have an abusive father. And so a lot of the things that my inner belly says to me are things that my father said to me. And, not everybody has an abusive childhood, but everybody probably has something that somebody said to them at some point that A, hurt them, and B, has stuck with them. And, the social conditioning of the media, of the, you need to be thin, and you need to be this, and you need to be that, and you need to have this, and, and make all this money, and buy all of these things. And there's so much pressure in our society to be this or do this or have that. And we all experience that social programming and conditioning, from the time we're little children. And, if we're like me and you have an abusive parent, then you have even more arsenal for that inner bully to use against you. And so, unfortunately, that inner bully, when they use those negative things against us, it can stop us from doing the things that we came here to do. It can stop us from achieving goals. When I was growing up, I was a straight A student. I was very well behaved. I never got in trouble at school because I was terrified. And I didn't even realize this until later, in my 20s, when I uncovered the repressed memories of my father molesting me as a child, that I thought I had to be perfect. And so I did everything I possibly could to be perfect. Well, the one thing that I couldn't, control really was my weight. And that's because I made a subconscious decision at the age of 3 to gain weight to protect myself from my father, which all that did was bring even more abuse about being overweight. And so I'm sure that, everybody has an inner bully to some extent. And what your inner bully says to you is, it's individual to every person. And so, everybody has different things. And one thing that I learned in a workshop is that when you name your bully, oh, thank you, Philippa. And actually, I will respond you saying that I'm brave to share that. And thank you, Antoinette, for saying you're sorry I had to go through that. Nobody should have to go through those things. The reality is that I did. And I heal out loud to give voice to those who are suffering in silence. And I've been told by family members that I should not talk about this, and especially family members who don't believe that it happened. But to me, staying silent is keeping his dirty secret. And I refuse to do that because it was keeping me in a prison, even up until it took me 10 years after I uncovered the repressed memories before I actually confronted him and spoke about it to anyone other than a very small circle. But now I say it loud to the world because it's not something for me to be ashamed of. It's something for him to be ashamed of. And I won't keep his dirty secret any longer. So that's why I share. And I know that there are many women out there who have been through something similar, and who haven't stepped into that empowered voice yet. And so that's why I speak up. Thank you, Jess. So one thing that I have done and that has helped me is giving my bully a name. And so my bully's name is Sheila. And this is nothing against, I'm sure I know that there are many wonderful women out there named Sheila. In fact, I have a friend named Sheila. But when I was in college, I had a boss named Sheila who was not very nice. And funny thing, she knew who my father was and had a crush on him and made it clear that she had a thing for my father because he was tall and thin and wealthy. But yes, so Sheila is my inner bully, and that kind of gave me some distance between the bully and myself, because I know that the things that bully says is not my authentic self. It's that social conditioning and the programming that came from things that hurtful things that people have said to me. Plus, shut up, Sheila, rolls off the tongue very nicely. If she starts making noise back there in the trunk where she's tied up, now that I've gotten her out of the driver's seat, if she starts, spewing her lies, I'll just say, shut up, Sheila. We're not listening to you today. So I would love it if you would take a moment and choose a name for your inner bully. And if you'd like to share the name in chat, you're welcome to do so. If not, you don't have to. You can just keep it, write it down in your journal and keep it in your mind. So I'll be quiet for a minute and give you a moment to pick a name. All right, so Jess's bully is named Greg and Philippa is naming hers Charleston. Interesting. Okay. Excuse me. If anyone else would like to share, they're welcome to do so. Susan Beth, okay. Thank you for sharing. And I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide. Good job, Jess. Yes, lock him in the trunk. So now that we have names for our inner bullies, we will revisit the inner bully in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to teach you one of my favorite strategies, and this strategy has helped me transform my life. So it's called Ho'oponopono, and it is a Hawaiian prayer. And the translation that is shared for that is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I actually learned this about 20 years ago, and somebody told me when I was having an issue with somebody in my life to start saying the Ho'opono prayer to their higher self. And I actually used it when I was teaching. If I had a rough day with a particular student, I would say that Ho'oponopono prayer with that student in mind that night. And then the next day, oftentimes would have a much better day. I've used it with bosses. I've used it just with people in my life. Well, about 2.5 years ago, a friend of mine recommended the book, and I just forgot the name of it, Zero Limits by Joe Vitale. And he talks about Ho'oponopono. And it's so cool because there is a Hawaiian shaman who's also I believe, a psychotherapist. And he got a job at it was something to the effect of like an insane asylum for the criminally insane. And most of the counselors there would actually have counseling sessions with the inmates. Well, he didn't do any of that. He came in and it was a very difficult place. They lost employees all the time. There was a lot of violence. There was, it was not a pleasant place to work. Well, he would go in and close the door to his office and sit with the files and say Ho'oponopono over the inmates. And within weeks, things started to change. The energy shifting, the fighting stopped. And so many of the inmates that he was saying the Ho'oponopono prayer over got better. And they were able to be discharged from this insane asylum. And so, they talk about how you can use it in your life. And 2.5 years ago, I was not in a good situation. I was, I won't go into details just out of respect for the people that I'm healing relationships with, but I was in a very bad place. I was suicidal. I was very upset. I was dealing with abuse, and I did not have a job and did not have the money to change my living situation to get away from that abuse or the bad energy that was in the building. And I remember one night standing in the living room, and something big had happened that day, and I was sobbing hysterically, and I said, okay, God, I don't know when and I don't know how, but I know I'm moving. And I got a box and I started packing. And the next day, I had an idea and I acted on that idea and I took steps. And I went from living there to I got a new vehicle. My car was breaking down. So I got a new vehicle. I went in to buy, so I got some money, came into some money, went in to buy a bed and a recliner because I knew I needed a good bed for my back and a comfortable place to sit in this new place that I was manifesting. Went into the furniture store, ended up getting hired on the spot and starting a job there the next day. And then saw the listing for the place. I called the management company as soon as it was the tenants moved out. I came and looked at it. I submitted my application. I was like, that's my place. I didn't submit an application anywhere else. I just said that is where I'm going to live and let it go. And sure enough, that's where I live now. I got myself a 2-bedroom apartment. And I even have a garage. I mean, it was just everything that I wanted. And the way that I did that, the way that I made all of these changes come about is every single time a negative thought came into my head, I would say the Ho'oponopono prayer. Every time I started feeling sad or depressed or upset or angry at the people who were being mean to me or any of those things, I would say Ho'oponopono prayer over and over and over and over and over again. And I probably said it 1,000 times a day. And I just would not let those negative thoughts take hold in my mind any longer. I turned them around every single time. And I used the Ho'oponopono prayer. And I mean, literally within probably 3 or 4 months, I was into this new place and with the new job and the new vehicle. And I mean, it was literally like I had two vehicles on my list of what I wanted. I either wanted a Hyundai Santa Fe or a Hyundai, I can't even remember the name of the other one right now. And I went on the line online to look at the car dealership where I had purchased my previous vehicle. And they didn't have anything in the price range that I was looking for. So I was like, okay, let me go a little bit higher. And there was a Santa Fe in my favorite car, my favorite color for cars, which is silver. And I was like, okay, it's mine. And so it was just so amazing how I read the book, I started using it, and it literally turned my life around. I mean, 180-degree turn within just a couple of months. And so I just can't stress to you how valuable these 4 statements are. And if you haven't written them down in your journal yet, I'm going to give you just another minute to write those down before I move on to the next slide, because I'm telling you, they are gold. Okay. So now we're going to do a little journaling exercise. And what I want you to do is I want you to write down as many things as you can think of that your inner belly tells you. And I'm going to do it with you so that I'm not going to ask you to do something I won't do myself. So I'm going to sit here and write a list of things that my inner belly has said to me. And we'll just take a few minutes to do this. And if you think of it while you're writing what the inner belly says to you, you can also write down where the inner belly learned those lies. And I know it doesn't feel very good to write these things, but I encourage you to keep writing them. I promise you, we're going to move through this into feeling better. How are we doing? Do we need more time or are we finished? Does anybody need more time? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on. I haven't heard that anybody needs more time. So now we are going to do a meditation. Go ahead and close your eyes. Oh, before we go into the meditation, I want you to think, we've been in our emotions with the things that our inner belly has said to us, and I want you to think just off the top of your head, what animal comes to mind when you think of those emotions? And you can put it in the chat if you would like. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into a meditation and we are going to embody that animal. Okay, Jess's is the lion. Mine was a wolf. Hyena. Okay. Well, you two have the Lion King vibe going. We got the lion, the hyena. Ooh, a badger. Okay. All right. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to picture yourself as that animal, going through the emotions of how you felt when the bully said those things to you. When your inner bully tells you that you're not good enough, or tells you that you're too much of this or not enough of that. How do you feel? How would that animal feel? I want you to picture yourself as that animal, feeling those emotions and really just get into that emotion and embody the emotion and the animal. I want you to just take a minute to sit with those emotions. And I know they don't feel good, but we have to feel them in order to move through them and then get them out. Justin was angry and hungry. When I did this meditation, my wolf was in desperation going through the snow in the winter searching for food, and it was starving and angry that it couldn't find food and desperate to find food. And the more desperate it became, the more it couldn't find food, and the more terrified it got that it wasn't going to find the food that it needed. So really kind of go in and just feel that emotion and bring up those emotions, dig those up from the depths of how you have felt when you have been told that you were not enough of something or you were too much of something else. Like an outcast, Sherry said. Thank you for sharing. And then go ahead, you're all on mute. Let those emotions out any way that feels comfortable. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to yell or shout, make animal primal noises, let those emotions out. Let them out. Okay, move through that emotion. I see Philippa's moving on to the next, skipping ahead, and she's shaking it out of her body. Now, when you're ready, go ahead and start letting go of that emotion. You feeling the fear, Philippa? Okay. Okay, and I am going to send all of you healing Reiki while you start moving and releasing that fear, releasing that anger, releasing that desperation, releasing feeling like an outcast. Because you are loved and you are very, very loved. And I am sending love and healing Reiki to every single one of you as you release these emotions that were caused by lies. Because the things that your bully says to you are lies. They are not the truth. You are worthy. You are enough. And you are safe. Once you've released that fear and you've worked through it, I want you to start saying that ho'oponopono to yourself. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Know that you are loved and you are supported. Calling in 100 healing angels for each of you to hold you in their love. Just soak up that love all around you. And let go of all that fear, all of those feelings of not being enough, feeling unworthy, feeling like an outcast, feeling angry. Just let all of those go. Envision a grounding column going from your tailbone down into the core iron crystal of Mother Earth, where it latches in and suctions out all of those feelings that don't feel good. As the angels wrap you in their love and their healing light. Now, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and transform back into your human form. You can shed that animal skin. Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad that you enjoyed that. Would anybody like to share how that felt or share anything that they experienced? All right, so now I invite you to write down how that felt for you. And I would encourage you to go to a new paper because I would suggest that you take this page. I would have had us do it tonight, but I did not get a message out to you inviting you to bring fire and something fireproof to burn the paper in. But I encourage you to burn this sheet of paper that you wrote the lies your bully tells you on, because fire is a powerful way to alchemize that and say goodbye to those lies from the bully. But I would invite you to go ahead and take a moment to just journal how that felt, any messages you might have received or anything like that. So I'll just give you a few minutes to write. Hey, go ahead and finish up whatever you're writing. Is there anyone who would like to share anything that they've written? So I have a poem that I want to share with you. Um, it's called Hurricane Father. I lived in a storm of anger for so long that it seemed as though it could have no end. Memories of your words, your actions, your lack of compassion blew through my mind like a Category 5 hurricane as I raged against the injustice, the soul-deep pain, the fiery breath of your anger, fueling my own and making everything spin faster and faster until it spiraled out of control. I might find peace for a few hours or even days, gasping for relief in the eye of the hurricane. But the storm surge of rage was always lurking, threatening to wash over me at any moment. You unwittingly planted seeds of unworthiness in the garden of my mind, for they had been planted in yours so long ago by a stepmother who couldn't love you the way you needed to be loved. I knew only how to tend the seeds that were planted, lacking the awareness to distinguish between the flowers and the weeds. Your words rained down upon me like so many arrows piercing my flesh. I wore no armor, for you told me that you loved me with one side of your tongue, while pelting me with insults with the other. You denounced my talents, targeted my weaknesses with a laser focus, making me feel as if nothing I did would ever be good enough. I didn't know that these criticisms were the only way you knew how to communicate. I didn't know that your heart was so broken it spoke a different language, one that made things you said with good intentions land as explosively as the artillery in the 1980s computer game we used to play together. Granny used to say if they knew better, they would do better. I would argue in my mind that you should have known better, that you had to know better. How could you not? But now I understand that even if you had been taught something better, your heart didn't comprehend the language it needed in order to learn. I hope someday you will find the key to unravel the barbed wire around your heart and find a way to heal the wounds inflicted so very long ago. It took me years to untangle the rusty barbed wire wrapped so tightly around mine. Cutting those wires often brought about even more pain and anger. For years, I ripped them out, tearing huge, jagged holes into the tender flesh. I raged against you for teaching me to wrap my heart in barbed wire while neglecting to teach me how to break free. The more I raged, the deeper they cut, strangling me as I begged for mercy. I learned that my rage was only entrenching those wires more deeply, that rage could never heal. Only love could do that. It was one thing to know that I needed to send love and that forgiveness would help me heal, and another entirely to truly feel it in my soul. Knowing love and forgiveness were the key, I tried so hard to send you love and forgive you for the pain you inflicted. I didn't know how. I paid lip service, saying I was working on forgiveness while still raging against the injustice of the suffering you caused. I read books, listened to podcasts and TED Talks, spent untold hours soaking up everything I could learn about forgiveness and self-love. Seeking answers, a guide to end the self-loathing, blaming you, blaming me. I am willing to forgive, I repeated over and over, along with so many other affirmations of love, forgiveness, peace, joy. But they felt like a tiny, worthless band-aid placed over the barbed wire, simply holding it in place and pressing it deeper. I rejected happy memories, like the competitive hours playing artillery in your tiny cluttered office when I would spend the day polishing bicycles and vacuuming the shop, or the excitement and importance I felt when you taught me how to screw the pedals onto the bikes you assembled for Kmart late at night. Those precious moments that were ours alone because my brothers were too young were tarnished in my mind because my pain was so raw. I spurned those happy memories because they didn't fit the narrative that you were evil to the core. I learned that blame and judgment only deepened my pain and took me further from source in the love and peace I sought. I finally made the shift from hating you for hurting me to loving you for doing the best you could despite the pain you suffered as you battled your own demons. I imagined comforting the tiny child who lost his mother at such a tender age. I cannot fathom the agony that caused you. When I finally shifted from knowing in my head that I needed to send you love and compassion to actually feeling those emotions at the core of my being, the barbed wire dissolved and the wounds began to heal. The winds of fury slowed to a gentle breeze, and the flood of tears waned as the tropical depression fizzled to an end. So I wrote that poem about a year and a half ago. I was actually, I had taken a spiritual course, and all of a sudden it just clicked. And like I said, the barbed wire, the anger just completely dissolved. And so I wrote that poem. And last New Year's Eve, I put it in the mail in a card to my father, that who I have not spoken to since 2014. Um, and I put it in a card that said, Dear Dad, I'm not sending this with any expectations. I just want you to know that I love you, I have forgiven you, and I pray you find peace. Love, Ditto, which was his nickname for me. And I put it in the mail and I closed that chapter. Or so I thought. Because the emotions still surface from time to time because I am human. But like I said in the poem, like I was angry at him for so long, and I was so angry, and it would just overflow and bubble out in times and places that it wasn't appropriate. And so being able to come to forgiveness and heal that, not because he deserves to be forgiven, but because I deserve peace and to be free of that anger, has just been it's just been a huge transformation. And it's been really really powerful to get to that point where, yes, the pain comes up from time to time, but most of the time it's not there. And I don't cry when I read this poem anymore. I used to. um so it's just the healing, and something really cool has happened with this healing that I've been doing on myself. um so I was talking to a friend of mine last December, and I was going to meet with somebody in my family that I had not spoken to in almost a year and a half. And we were getting together to kind of try to mend the fences. And I told this friend, and she said, well, I'd love to do a healing meditation for you. And I said, okay. And she texted me later and said, I did the meditation, and I asked for anybody who was here for your highest good to come in and to support the meditation. And this beautiful woman came forward, and she called herself Granny. And she told me that the healing work you're doing on yourself is not just helping you, but it's helping your family who is still on earth, and it's helping those who have gone before you. So in fact, I don't think anybody on this call knows who my granny was or how important she was to me, but she and I were linked. I mean, we were so incredibly close from the time I was born. She had 14 grandchildren, but I was clearly her favorite. I gave her grandma name because everybody just called her grandma, and I'm the third from the youngest. It's just me and my two brothers who are younger than me. So I'm the youngest granddaughter, and they just called her grandma, and I called her Ganny. And so she decided she wanted to be Ganny. Well, they changed it and everybody called her Granny, but so I gave her grandma name. And when I was in high school, she moved in with us. And my my mom was the only one who didn't work because of her health problems. So she was home so she could take care of my grandmother, which was logic didn't work very well. But anyway, she moved in with us and lived with us for almost the whole time I was in high school. And we were just incredibly close. And, I treasure those memories. And, I after she moved in, I started having all these dreams that would come true. And the next time I would see somebody, they were doing what they were doing in the dream, or they were wearing what they were wearing in the dream. And so I told my granny about them. And she said, I had that gift when I was younger, but I was scared of it and I pushed it away. I said, well, I think it's really cool. I want to develop this. Well, fast forward to when she died, and she really, really overwhelmed me with the connection to what was going on the other side. I was so wrapped up in all the messages I was getting from the other side that I couldn't really communicate on this side. And that was very terrifying, both for me and for my mom, who was like, oh my God, I just lost my mom. I can't lose my daughter too. And that was the, I call it my period of spiritual psychosis. Some people go through their psychosis because of drugs or whatever, but mine was a spiritual high. So just a little bit about my spiritual awakening. Okay, so now that we have gone in and felt the emotions, and we have moved through those emotions and worked through those in our mind and our emotional body, we need to get those emotions out of our physical body. So I have a song that I'm going to play so that we can dance and get to move those, that energy, that stuck energy that we've been holding on to, and move that out of our bodies. So if you don't want to be on camera, I know most of you aren't anyway. Totally understand, but I'm going to dance on camera and I'm going to play a song for us. And I do not own the rights to this music.
Dory, I don't know
Yes.
about anyone else, but I don't hear the music.
Okay, let me start it over and play it louder. You hear it now? No? No. Wait. Shoot. We'll try something else then. I will put it on YouTube. Now, can you hear it?
things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 Yeah. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. Oh, light. Yeah. Oh, light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Yeah. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I still want to share. So I already kind of shared about my healing journal before we danced. um, but it's an ongoing thing. I've read so many books and just done all the studying because I'm the study type. I like to read and I like to learn. And so just I think it's just always just deepening into um learning more about who I am, who my authentic self is, and underneath the pain and the anger and the turmoil caused by the inner bully. Um and so it's I don't know, I think it's just interesting how the same lessons come back to us and spiral back around. And um I don't so anyway, because I have had such a transformation in my life because of this healing journey that I've been on, I have actually created a course called Awakening Your Inner Cheerleader, because the way to kind of drown out that inner bully is to partner with and strengthen the voice of your inner cheerleader. And so we all, in addition to having that inner bully, we all have an inner cheerleader. And I know for a long time, mine was very, very silent. I didn't hear from her very much. But every once in a while, that small voice that would just say, keep going, or, it's going to be okay. And you're going to get through this. And, that support that you need on the kind of the darkest moments. And when you just don't know how you're going to get through, and you don't know, how you're going to make it through another day. And there's that voice. But because I'm so familiar with that inner bully, I feel like, for a long time, that was a weakness in me, was that inner bully. But I believe that fighting that inner bully and getting her out of the driver's seat has given me a strength that a lot of people don't have. People who maybe don't deal with an inner bully as strong as mine don't have to build up the same defenses that I did. And, like I've said, so many of the things that my inner bully says to me are things that my father said to me, and I mean, when you think of who a father is supposed to be, he's supposed to protect you. He's supposed to love you. He's supposed to take care of you. And my father, I mean, while he was a good provider, he worked hard and always paid the bills, but he wasn't an emotional support at all. He's in fact destroyed the emotions. And it's one of those where he worked a lot and he was gone most of the time, thank goodness, because when he was home, it was not good. But I like to say that my mom taught me to be strong in the face of adversity, and my father gave me lots of adversity to practice with. And like I told you, I made a subconscious decision at the age of 3 years old to gain weight to protect myself from his sexual advances. And as you can tell, I still have not convinced her that she's safe enough to let go of those pounds. And at one point I realized that, or I just thought that confronting my father would be the key that would unlock that, that the reason I kept gaining the weight back after I would lose it was because I was keeping his secret. And so I confronted him, and I had been scared to do that, because I was afraid of how it would affect my relationship with my brothers. And it wasn't pretty. It was interesting because I had a conversation with one of my brothers about a month before I confronted my dad. And I said, the only reason he is still in my life is because I'm worried what it'll do to my relationship with you and our other brother if I kick dad out of my life. He said, oh, your relationship with dad has nothing to do with your relationship with me. Well, that was proven wrong the very day that I confronted my father. And that confrontation was, if I hadn't already been completely sure that it had happened, confronting him made it all the more clear, because his reaction was to gaslight and deflect. And yeah, so anyway, it was like I said, it's given me a lot of tools. And so I've created a course to share those tools with others. And like I said, the best way to get that bully out of the driver's seat is to strengthen your relationship with your inner cheerleader, to awaken your inner cheerleader, to build a relationship with her, and to strengthen her voice. And so I have created this course. Let me go here to the website. My Zoom menu is in the way. Let's see, I'll just open a new window. Okay. And so there's copy here that you're welcome to read at your leisure. Philippa will go ahead and drop the link to this into the chat box. And so, like I said, it's a 7-week course. It'll be held live on Zoom on Thursday evenings, November 3rd through December 15th at 6:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 Eastern. So the first module will be about meeting your inner cheerleader. So we'll get to know our inner cheerleader. We'll get to, kind of interact with her and through meditation, because your inner cheerleader is you. It's your higher self whose voice comes through when we listen for it. And the more that we listen for it and acknowledge it and celebrate it, the more that that voice will come through. And so then module 2 is how do I love me? Let me count the ways. And we will do a week-long self-love challenge and do all kinds of different things to show ourselves how much we love and appreciate ourselves. In module 3, we will reparent our inner child. So we'll do that through some meditation and journaling work. And many of us, our inner bully stems from our childhood. Some people it doesn't. Some people, did not have the kind of childhood I did, but a lot of the messages from the world kind of come in, start coming in childhood. So we all have something to heal in our childhood, even if it's not as deep and traumatic as what I went through. Then in module 4, we will work on keeping promises to ourselves, because one of the things that our inner bully likes to do is convince us to break promises both to ourselves and to others. And so we'll do some work on keeping promises to ourselves. On module 5, we will find our inner support system. We will actually meet our spirit guides. And I'm taking another course kind of simultaneously with this one. And by week 5, I will have been attuned to the animal kingdom. So I'll be able to bring in some work with that. I actually had a reading almost 2 years ago now with a shaman and met my spirit or my power animal, which is a dolphin named Emma. And when she told me that, I was like, of course, dolphin, because I've been obsessed with dolphins my entire life. It's always been my favorite animal. And like every time I get to the ocean, it's like, oh, I'm home. So we'll get to do, to meet some of our spirit guides. We have lots of spirit guides. And then on module 6, we'll work on trusting our inner wisdom. And that's kind of related to the spirit guides and the cheerleader. And then in module 7, we will create a self-care manual, because when we are angry or upset or depressed or whatever, when we're in our emotions, our brain freezes. And so we forget the things that we already know. And so we will each create our own self-care manual where it'll say, okay, well, on the days that I'm depressed, these are the things that help me feel better. When I'm angry, these are the tools that I can use to work through that anger and things like that. So I think that's something that I've been thinking about doing for myself for a while. So I think that'll be a fun thing for us to create kind of as a culmination of our 7-week journey together. And so what the course will include are the 7 2-hour weekly Zoom calls with lifetime access to the replays. I will create a workbook for you each week. So you'll have a PDF workbook, and I will also record a separate meditation, separate from meditations that we do during our call together. We will have a private Facebook group just for the people in the course so that you can get to know each other. We'll build community, we'll support each other. And then I'll also have chat support. And then in addition to that, I will do each person in the course will get a 1-hour one-on-one transformational call with me, and we will work through whatever it is that's coming up for you. Because as we start working with our inner cheerleader and working on self-love, those stories start to come up, and those memories and some of that pain and trauma and stress and whatever it is starts to surface. And so we will work through that together. And so for that 7-week course, the retail price is $1,111 or 3 monthly payments of $371. And if you make your first payment by Friday, October 21st. So a week from tomorrow, you'll receive the early bird special, which is $777 or 3 monthly payments of $259. And the first 5 people to register will actually get a second one-on-one transformational call with me. So, and this will be, this is the first time I'm running the course. I'm super excited about it. I actually was, I'm dealing with some health stuff this year, and one of the doctors told me it was going to be the end of November before I could expect to be back to my full normal energy levels. And so I had decided I was going to launch this course in January. When I was actually taking a course to, help me prepare a course. And we did a meditation, and everybody was talking about the dates for their courses this fall. And I started going, oh, I don't want to wait until January. I want to do it this fall. And then I was like, okay, am I just getting caught up in everybody else's excitement, or is this meant for me? And so the next morning I went in and did a meditation. We had actually done a meditation where we had the waterfall that was the energy of the course that we were creating. And then we swam in the pool of light that was, this pool of energy that is the course that I'm bringing forth. And so I went back into that pool and I swam in the pool, and the course told me that I needed to do it this fall because it wanted to be a part of that healing process. And so I changed my dates and I set it for this fall and said, okay, I'm doing this course to help other people, but it's going to heal me too. Okay, I'm good with that. I can handle that. And that night was actually the full moon in September. And I had gone outside and was, communing with the moon like I like to do. And I go out and I just open my heart to the moon, and I just like let the moon shine in and give me messages. And I turned around to come back into the house, and so I came back into the house, I turned around to come into the house, and there was a celestial body that was just like shining brighter than anything else in the sky. I was like, okay, this celestial body has a message for me. And so I got out my Starwalk app and looked, and it was Arcturus. And I was like, oh my gosh, of course it's Arcturus. Because we had actually done, during that same meditation that we did with my friend Hillary, she brought in the Arcturians, who are the highest vibrational healers in the universe. And so when Arcturus was blinking at me, it was telling me that the Arcturians are going to be a part of this course, and I'm going to be, bringing them in, and they're going to be doing healing work on all of us who do this. And I'm just super excited because this will be like, it's going to be the very first course, the group course that I run. And, you never get that very first back again. And so I'm really excited to see who are going to be the founding members of Awakening Your Inner Cheerleader. And so if this course is calling to you, if this feels like something that you would enjoy, if it feels like it's something that you would like, and if the money, if that seems like it's a stretch for you in any way, I do have full and partial scholarships available. So right here on the website, you can click, fill out the scholarship application. It's just a couple of questions, because I don't want money to be the thing that holds anybody back. And that's why I'm doing the free events before the class. Yes, it's to get the word out about the course, but really and truly, like, I have benefited from so many spiritual teachers' free programs, when I didn't have the money to pay for them. And so, it's really important to me. I will always do, free events. And, so like I said, if it feels like it's right for you, please fill out, and you don't have the money to do it, please fill out the scholarships, because we'll find a way to make it work. Because like I said, I don't want the money to ever be the reason that somebody's not able to join us. And so these are different ways that you can pay. I have Venmo, Zelle, and Google Pay on the website. If you don't have any of these and you need to pay with PayPal, you can contact me. There's a button on here where you can contact me as well. PayPal charges fees, the other ones don't. So I put those as a preference. But like I said, if you need the PayPal information, just click and let me know, or, send me a message. You guys all, most of you know me on Facebook or have my phone number. And then I also have everyone who joined me tonight. I would love to schedule a free 30-minute transformational call with you, just so that I can, talk to you and help you through whatever you're working through. And, whether you feel like awakening your inner cheerleader is a good fit for you or not, please know that I'm here to support you. If you ever need somebody to talk to, if you ever, just please reach out, because I just have such deep love for people. And, I know that I came here to make a difference. And, when I first uncovered the repressed memories of what my father had done to me, I literally that same day I started saying, please guide me to ways that I can help other people. Please, please bless this in a way that I can take the pain and turn it into a way to help other people. And so, this course is the first of many that I will be doing. And so I thank you all so much for showing up tonight and being a part of this event, my very first masterclass. I really appreciate you being here. And, like I said, whether you feel like awakening your inner cheerleader is a good fit for you or not, please keep in touch. Please, reach out if you ever need any kind of support, because that's what I'm here for. So, with that being said, I'd love to open up if anybody would like to share, if you have any questions about the course or about what we did tonight, or if you'd like to share any, any thoughts or feelings about this experience. I'd love to know how it landed for you. If you want to share in the chat, if you want to share it loud, or if you just want to send me a private message, afterwards, I just would love to hear from you. So is there anybody who wants to share now? Oh, thank you guys. I see the love in the chat. Thank you.
Just want to thank you, Dory, for your honesty and your offer of love and support. You walk your talk so beautifully. You are such a beautiful soul. I am so glad I know you. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippa. The feeling is mutual. All right. Well, again, thank you all for coming. Did we get the link in the chat? It's awakeningyourinnercheerleader.com. And I did have, I also have a free Facebook group on Facebook if you are interested in more of the posts and things like that I like to share. It's called Moon Magic Oracle Healing Society, where you can send me a message on the website or through Facebook and let me know, and I will get you added. All right. Well, thank you again for coming tonight, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.